We've been together for 12 years, 8 of those years as husband and wife. Our daughter is 6 years old. This is how I learned about the affair. To be honest, I'm glad I found out about the affair. I no longer care about my wife. I think she was only using me for money. I earn 3 times what she does. My only worry is about my kid. This is how I learned about it. Over the last 5 months, I've been working crazy hours, including lots of extra and weekends, to save money for her dad's surgery later next month. That day, I was annoyed from work and other things, and it made me snap when I saw my wife laughing while texting on the bed instead of talking to me or asking me how I was doing. I went to get her phone, but it was locked when I did. That's why I asked her for the password. She flatly refused and told me I was crazy. I asked her again or told her I would take the phone to her parents' house, figure out how to open it, and read what was on it in front of them. Her folks are very religious, and they wouldn't even think about leaving her if they found out she had an affair. She did not say anything, but told me she was leaving the marriage. I kept the phone in my hand and told her that if she told me the truth, I wouldn't tell her parents. She then told him that she had been seeing a coworker after work for the past 2 months. Still, I asked her for the password and finally got it. Then I told her to leave the room. I locked the door right away and read the texts. It had been going on for about 4 months, which is twice as long as she had said. Even after being caught, she still wouldn't tell the truth. I hooked up the phone to my computer and got all of the chat logs. I'm not sure what made me do that, but I'm glad I did. That's when I asked her what she wanted to do next. She told me she wanted to get a divorce. I told her to think about it again in a week. If she still wanted a divorce, I told her to think about her daughter. If she did, I would give her one, but I would keep control of my daughter. The reason she was having an affair, she told me, was that I wasn't spending enough time with her because I was busy with work. To add to that, I had been working too hard and didn't have time for myself. Her dad had surgery. She told me she didn't have time to tell me about this earlier because she wanted more time. We talked about it some more. I don't understand why she didn't say anything while we were still eating breakfast and living in the same place. She stood there still when I asked her if she didn't know why I was working all that time. It was like it didn't bother her. So what look was on her face? She told me yesterday that she still wanted a divorce and that she wanted to take our daughter with her. I told her that wasn't going to happen because I had saved all of our chats and would use them in court to get control. She knew I would never leave my daughter. She had a sob. I just left to go to my daughter's room. I also told her that her boyfriend should pay for her dad's surgery because I wasn't going to pay for it. Last week, I stopped working extra hours and started spending more time with my daughter. To be honest, I will still use the money I have saved up to pay for the surgery. I don't have any parents, but I love them like they are my own. I told her that to make her hurt. After that, she said she was sorry, begged me to pay for the surgery, and promised to stop having an affair and work on her marriage. I really don't believe her anymore. As soon as the surgery is over, this marriage will end. There is a chance that I will get a divorce, but I will keep the child. Following state rules, if a spouse has an affair about child custody, they do not have to pay alimony. I believe I can find proof of the affair, and my friends also think I should get a divorce in trade for the money for her dad's surgery. My lawyer friend agrees with you, and he promised me custody. It's important to me to know if ending the marriage is the right thing to do. The main things that worry me are how it will affect my daughter and how I should tell her family. I care about them a lot and don't want to lie to them. Report: I talked to my wife's parents today about my choice to get a divorce and the events that led to it. At first, they wouldn't even let me into the house, so I'm glad I met them today. As my wife told them that I was cheating on her and my daughter with another woman while living with her brother, they gave me a chance to explain my side of the story. They had time to think about this, and I'm waiting in the guest room with my daughter and sister, who were sleeping. Update 2. I talked to a lawyer, and he told me it was okay, even though there was proof of cheating. And I get to keep everything I own. I also get to keep control of my child. Also, he insisted on hiring a private investigator to find out more about the affair partner. He said that this might help the case and that it was better to be safe than sorry. He knows his stuff, and he would also be taking care of the PI, so I agreed. To get a court case in 2 to 3 weeks, he told me, they had to start by early next week. Hey I agree that what you're doing is good. She's cheating. She said she wanted to leave the marriage but changed her mind when she saw how strong her case was. And I don't think she would really try to fix the marriage. I think she would just act that way to get you to pay for the surgery. I think you should let her tell her folks. That's not your job. You could also talk to the parents about it and say that because of what happened, you're not sure if you want to pay for the surgery and need some time to think about it. The only reason I say this is so you can tell if they would treat you like family if they didn't have your money. I don't want you to pay for it and then have them treat you differently now that you're not married to their daughter. Good luck with what you're going through, Ope. Let's move on to the second story for today. We've been married for 4 years now after being together for 7. We're happily married and have 2 kids. We were the only people who ever slept with each other. She went home with a coworker on Friday night last week, but she lied and said it was for a work event. In particular, she texted me around 7:30 to say that she had to leave right away for a work event. She canceled on us without telling us, which made me mad because we were going to watch a movie at home. But I didn't start to doubt her. I didn't mind that she said she would be back by 9:30. After that, she came back at 11:30 in a terrible mood. She broke down in tears and mumbled that she had slept with a coworker. For me, it made me very angry and made me cry, and we talked about it all night. She told me that her younger coworker had been flirting with her for weeks and showering her with compliments, but she didn't tell me because she thought it would never lead to anything. Eventually, he broke down her walls, and they had 3 sets of sex at his house in 2 hours. She said she felt like she was missing out on something by only having one sexual partner. To explain why she didn't cheat and wasn't thinking straight, she said she was in the moment. It's been weeks, and she never meant to cheat on me. She said that being treated like a hot, attractive woman by a young, good-looking guy made it even harder for her to think straight. After having sex at least 3 times a week and going on many date nights, I'm not sure what she meant by this. Right then and there, I asked her to show me her phone, email, and media. There was no sign of him at all. They only talked at work. I thought she might be lying to hide her tracks, but over the next few days, I called my service provider and used a text recovery program to make sure. They said she had never talked to them outside of work. My spouse says it was a one-time mistake that won't happen again. She quit her job, turned in her notice, and told her boss about the coworker because of the policy against working with coworkers. She is now looking for a new job. It seems like she really wants me to stay with her because she agreed to let me watch all of her media whenever I want. She has said sorry and shed so many tears that it's impossible to keep track of them all. She made me stay away from her for a while, but my kids need me, so I told her to leave the house while I think things over. So she doesn't have to worry about me. My wife wants to go to couples counseling and therapy and pay for it herself. To be sure, she tells me she's sorry for cheating. I didn't do anything to help with it. I never imagined that I would be willing to forgive cheating. I always believed I would be strong and say no to touch without a second thought. I'm trying to figure out what's good and bad about this. Really sorry for what you did, but regret doesn't cover everything, right? It's not just about your marriage. She was honest enough to admit that she was ready to risk upsetting her whole family life just to feel hot and wanted. She decided that the stable, 2-parent raising of her children was worth the risk. And the last blow to the heart was that she made the same serious choice twice more in a few hours. I would never forgive you for giving my kids the middle finger. You don't have to give her another chance to be forgiven because she hurt your family. Good luck, Opie. Let's move on to the last story for today. Hello, everyone. This is the first time I've come across a group like this. This is the first time I've ever used Reddit. I guess I came here to feel like I was part of a group. For more than a year, I've been having a hard time with my wife cheating on me. I don't want to talk about it with relatives or friends because I don't want to wear them down. I've been looking for a place where I can talk about my problems with people who have been through the same things as me and share them with other people without seeming weak. Thanks for making me feel welcome in your town. I hope that my life has some meaning and that I can make someone else's life better. This is the scene. I'm 28 years old and have been married to this woman for 7 years. Our child is now 5 years old. I adore my child with all my heart, and I still love my wife. I had to work on Memorial Day 2019, but my wife was off. We went on a date the night before. We talked, walked, had sex, and had a few drinks at the bar. Everything looked good. The next day, Memorial Day, I went to work. My daughter was with my in-laws because she had stayed with them the night before so my wife and I could go on a date. My wife had gone shopping, picked up the child, and bought her a new car seat before I got home. The kid went to bed after we got home late. After the kid was in bed, my wife went outside to smoke. I didn't smoke, so I sat on the couch. We got ready for bed with her, and when we got there, she told us we needed to talk. She told me that day she kissed someone. She hung out with a guy she knew and kissed him. She was in love with her friend's husband as well as making out with him. After swearing that she and her friend's husband had never been together physically, she still says she didn't, but I think that is a lie. She said she would spend some time with her parents. We spoke all night. She went to a show with a friend the next day that she had planned ahead of time. She saw the guy she kissed again and stayed the night with him. I lost everything. I felt absolutely awful about myself. She moved out in the end and now lives with her parents. It was about 7 weeks that she stayed there while she kept seeing this guy. She went back and forth between wanting to be single and making things right with her family. There were ups and downs at this party for 7 weeks, with and without sex. That was this time last year. I was sick of it. She was going to come over one night while my daughter and I were at a baseball game. That's what I told her to do, get what she wanted and leave what she couldn't get for me to pick up when I got home. She hadn't come by. I called to find out why she wasn't there. That's why, she said, it was hard. I gave up. I told her I didn't care if it was hard or what she was going through. I told her to come over the next day and get what she wanted, or I would throw it away and keep what I wanted. When she came over, I left the divorce papers on the couch table for her to find. The mood changed after she came over and stuck her stuff on it. All of a sudden, she felt like getting things done. Things went better with this guy after a few more bumps. She sent him some of her stuff through the mail and stopped talking to him. She began seeing her own therapist, and my husband and I began marriage therapy. For the first 8 or 9 months, things went well. I was really glad to see her and my family again. We talked for a while, and she told me about 4 guys she had some kind of inappropriate contact with during our marriage. Even though it wasn't always physical, I still spent time with them while I worked and talked to them at least once a day. I told her I was okay with her being clean and that I still wanted to try, but things are going badly now. It's been a year since D-Day, and I'm still not sure what I want to do. These days things have been really tough. The lack of trust is getting to me, and our sex has slowed down. We aren't dating as much either. She doesn't text or call very often. For about a month now, I've been the one to start sex. It doesn't feel right, I don't know. It's not nice. I've been thinking about what I want out of life. I think I might be holding on because she's meeting some of my goals, but not the bigger ones. I think that the fact that I don't trust her and care about her is a big problem. I'm not sure if I can get over it. These days, we have good sex, but I don't want to be with her when I'm not getting that. I keep thinking about what I want for the future, and I've come to the conclusion that she's not always an important part of it. Could I put this behind me, with or without her? I think that would help me focus on what I need to do to be successful. The fear, the worry that something bad will happen every day, and the fact that she won't talk about it or take steps to help our relationship are wearing me out and keeping me from becoming what I know I can be. Since I've been thinking about what I want in life, I believe I may be hanging on to her because she meets some of my needs, but not the most important ones. I'm not scared that I'll always be by myself. I used Tinder and Bumble to meet a few girls last month. I texted a few more girls and set up a date with a pretty girl. I didn't go on the date, though, when the night of the event came around. I stopped everything and got rid of all the numbers and apps. I don't understand why I feel like I need proof. I feel like my relationship isn't meeting all of my wants. I almost cheated on her, which was bad, but it also taught me that I would be fine without her for my physical wants. I worry about my child, though. What will happen to my child because of the people my wife will invite over? Even though all of this is true, I would still miss my wife, but I think she would make a better friend with benefits. That's all because people don't trust each other, talk to each other, or are fired up. Yes, Ope, your wife doesn't respect you. You can't trust someone who doesn't respect you because they will always put her needs ahead of yours. Because you still have to deal with her for the child, you should no longer be her wife but at most friends with benefits. Then you should get a divorce. But it might be best for you to just co-parent and move on with your life. You should also get an STD test if you haven't already. You might also want to think about getting a DNA test. Good luck to you.